I know I'm muted, guys. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna give people a chance to join in. So 1 second. All right. What's up, guys? It is Tuesday already. The week is going by pretty fast. So, let's get into this. Hopefully you guys watched the video yesterday. Hopefully you guys seen that we were taking this trade on EU. So I'm gonna just cover the trades that I'm currently in at the moment, and I'll talk about some trades that look like they want to come in soon. All right, so the first trade is going to be EU. Make sure this is not too loud. Let's turn it down just a little bit. All right, so first trade is EU, and pretty simple breakdown. I'm keeping it as simple as possible. So simply what happened here is we're gonna zoom out on a higher time frame first. All right, so let's go to daily. You guys know we're in a bearish market cycle, right? We have bearish structure. Don't worry about all of this drawings and everything in here. Just focus on the structure, right? We're bearish structure. Drew the fibs out from the high to the low. We came into the 71, right? 71.80, that's the sweet spot for us. And simply put, we zoomed in on the hourly time frame. So basically going in, seeing what the order flow is looking like. And the first thing we needed to see was this here, change of character. So we were looking for buying opportunities until we seen the change of character. And honestly, I didn't buy from anything here because none of these areas met my rules. And let me make sure I have the rules here. Let's copy that. Let's put it in EU. So none of these areas here okay, I got you. Hold on. So yeah, none of these areas here for the buying setups met the rules. And then we got the change of character. We're already in a premium pricing on the higher time frame, so we know we're looking for shorts once we got this change of character. So now zooming in on Friday, we can see we have manipulation of Asian highs here. The market moves lower, and honestly, there was already a trade here opening on this week yesterday. That was the first supply zone, first trade that already hit take profit. Now honestly guys, I did not take this trade here because it was over the weekend. So boom, right, you can see that already hit my target for a 1 to 3, right? So I added that to the journal for something for me to back test, but I did not take that trade. Right now we have another trade here where we manipulate these highs yesterday on Monday, and we gave another break of structure. So simply put, we're following that same trade. We have manipulation of Asian highs here, and then we have a move, break of market structure, following all of our rules here. We have manipulation. We had a clear impulsive move to the downside, right? We see a lot of strong bearish candles. So boom, clear impulsive move. We had imbalance. We have imbalance here, which is drawing the market to come into this area. Now the market can still come up here, guys. I won't be managing this trade until we break this low. Once we break this low, I'll move my stop loss above this high or whatever high that we create. So keep that in mind. And then imbalance, like I said, and then we have the change of character slash break of structure slash break of market structure, right? Which is right here. That's our BMS. So that's a confirmed trade. Trade activates. All right, that is the breakdown of the trade. Now inside of this, we did have some liquidity as well, which gave me more confluence to take the trade, right? Extra liquidity is a nice confluence. So you could use that. You can add that to your rules if you want. This is the basic like foundation for the rules, but if you want to add confluences, extra confluences of your own, you can do that as well. All right, so seeing this liquidity here forming up was something that actually gave me extra confluence on this. Now, just because we have all of these rules and confluences doesn't mean this is automatically a winning trade, guys. The market still has to do its job. So we just have to let the market play out. Already have my management rules. Like I told you guys, once we hit this low right here, and if we hit that low, I will move my stop loss. If we don't, nothing is getting changed. All right, we're just gonna let the market do its thing, and we risk accordingly, of course. So as this market goes down, we're going to be targeting imbalances if it continues going down like this imbalance, and then more imbalances as we create more setups, okay, to the downside. Now, moving on, let's go to GCAD, which is another trade. This is going to be a higher time frame trade. This might take a little bit longer to give us the movements, and this might range a lot more than EU. So basically, this is an order flow play. This is the extreme of order flow. So this is what's currently holding our bullish order flow. We've seen that this market has been trending towards the upside. You guys can see there's a lot of setups in here. If you're looking to backtest and you want to just backtest a good pair, backtest GCAD. There's a lot of supply and demand setups in here. Well, a lot of demand setups, and that'll help you train your eyes to identify the rules and identify which things work, which things doesn't, right? A lot of them here. You can see a lot of mitigations here. So backtest that if you need to, but simply put, we have a bullish order flow to the upside. Here's the manipulation here that took out all of this liquidity. So that's one of our rules met. We have the impulse to the upside. We see the impulsively moving towards the upside. So we know buyers are still in control. That's basically why we need the impulsive move. And obviously we do have imbalance. Go to the higher time frame here. You can see we have clear imbalance here, drawing the market back into our area. That's another thing we need to see. And why did we not take this? I know a lot of people might question this area here. Why did we not take this area? So simply put, it was because if we draw our fibs from this low here to that high, you can see that this high failed to trade back into 50%. All right, and I know it's like what, a 6 pip difference? It's a 6 pip difference, but it is crucial, right? It is very make it back into that 50%. Okay, the market does not make it back into the 50%, then we don't have that order flow, right? Because if it did, then order flow would have went from this low here to that high, and then if this would have made this low, it would have went from here to whatever high we created, right? And then this would have been the extreme, but that's not what happened here. So we will make sure this is good. Okay, so we will not be taking that area because of that simple thing right there. So it is very important that you guys are paying attention to, make sure this is good. Yeah, so it is very important that you guys are paying attention to the order flow, and this is why we use the fibs. Okay, this is why we have the fibs, and this is why it's important. All right, now simply put, this is the manipulation. This is where the entry is. We did take a minor entry here as well. So we've seen that the market did tap into this overall area and we broke this high. So we did take an entry right here, right? We took the entry right. Let me get that set up for you guys. So boom, we had that high break. We had this that tapped into this area here, and then we had that manipulation. So we did take an entry here on GCAD early, okay, and we actually got reduced risk, so we got break even on that trade there. That's where your management rules kind of saves you, right? So I do have those type of rules. Those are the B setup rules that you guys see here. You're gonna have to be more advanced, and you're gonna have to understand Wyckoff in a little bit more, right? It's not as simplified, but it's not like crazy amount of things that you really need to know. It's just an extra confluence just in case we do not get that pullback here, as you see right here. If this market would have taken off, we would have actually been able to take a take profit. All right, so yeah, we got reduced risk here and we got break even here. That's when I knew the market was going to come to our origin, and that was the trade. It was simply just off the 50% of this manipulation, guys. Okay, simply off the 50% of that manipulation, and that was the trade. All right, now let's go into what we're looking at for the week. Okay, so we got EU and GCAD that is activated already. And then I'm looking for CAD-J, which is coming down here. And I'm looking for GJ. We're going to talk about these two, and then we're going to go into our basic analysis for everything else that we're looking at. So GJ, we're going to start off with GJ. You guys can see we have pretty obvious bullish market cycle, pretty obvious momentum towards the upside. The main thing you guys are going to notice with the way that I trade is we're using structure, and we're understanding where our extreme is, where our legs are, what we should be looking for, right? So we can see we have low, high, pretty obvious structure. Inside of here was our only demand. The reason why this was our only demand is because these lows here, we did not manipulate anything here. All we did was fill in balance, which I also like the fact that we did that, but this is not where I wanted to take my entry. This is where we wanted to take the entry here because this has a distribution. So for those of you that understand Wyckoff, this has a distribution in here, and we manipulated Asian lows, and that is what broke this high. So as the market came into here, and honestly, I did not take a limit order from here. I saw this too late. We actually took a loss on GJ last week. Once we activated this demand zone here, I was looking for confirmation entries as this market was going higher. We tried to take something on a lower time frame and ended up getting hit stop loss here before the market came back and hit the demand zone again, and then we took this explosive move. Now inside of this explosive move here, guys, there was really no reaccumulations that we could have taken. This mainly happened during what, Asian session, and then New York session just gave us that impulse. We're already at TP. Okay, I think TP for this was going to be here anyways, on this huge imbalance, so there was no point of chasing this market. Okay, so now we have order flow from this low here to this potential high. I can't call this high the new high yet until we trade back into 50%. I don't know if we did. No, we did not. So this is not a high until we make it to 50%. All right, that's when it will be a confirmed high. But anyways, the next trade that we're looking for, guys, is pretty obvious, is going to be off of this area here. You can see this is the same setup here. We have the distribution at the top. We have the distribution at the top, right? We have the manipulation lower, taking out lows. We have taken out lows, okay? And then we have the impulsive rally towards the upside, breaking structure. Okay, now one thing I will say about this, I would have loved if we broke this high a little bit more aggressively, right? That's just me being nitpicky on the trade, but we still broke the high. Okay, so simply the trade is going to come off the 50% of this area. Now, trust me, I did try to minimize it as much as possible. I could not find anything on the lower time frame to really minimize this area, so I just took the 50% of the whole area. Okay, we're just gonna do that. That's gonna be the limit order that's gonna be set on this next area, and let me just put that there. We're gonna highlight it. That'll be that limit order here on GJ. Okay, so we're gonna wait on that, and let me make sure I have this alert here so I know when we come down here. All right, CAD-J, okay? CAD-J, what do we see? So here it was the start of the order flow, and we invalidated the order flow, okay? So we know buyers are in control of this market now. Daily time frame, zoom out for you guys a little bit. You guys can see kind of where we're at here on the daily time frame. We have a huge accumulation here that invalidated. We see we're in a huge bullish daily leg here on the daily time frame. And also looking at our candles, look at these candles, guys. So what do we see happen on this market? We see we have this right here, right? We know that as a rally based rally, but for those of us that understand Wyckoff, we know that is also a reaccumulation. And we have a doji that mitigated the open of that daily candle, followed by another doji, followed by this impulsive move right here, right? That clearly breaks the high. So we know that we're technically definitely in bullish order flow. So same thing here. We have the distribution at the top here. We have the manipulation lower that takes out Asian lows, and we feel imbalance. We feel imbalance, right? We tap into imbalance here, and we get the impulsive rally higher. So this is going to be a limit order as well. I could not find a better candle than the 4-hour candle, guys. Okay. This is going to be literally the best area. I tried to minimize this one as well. Imbalance is right here. This is literally going to be the best area to take this. Okay. Stop loss is a little huge, but at least with this trade, we're going to minimum at a new high. We'll hit TP. That's all that matters. Okay. So that is CAD-J, and those are going to be the main things we're looking at, guys. For split entries right now that are already confirmed trades, it's going to be GCAD. Already in a trade there. EU's already in a trade, right? You can see it pulled back already. So whoever wants to join into the trade, be my guest. All right. But we're in EU, okay? And GJ, CAD-J, and GCAD, right? Those are the remaining orders that we're looking for. Now let's move on. Let's talk about what we're looking for on potentially on EU. Now GU, I'm not looking for anything yet. I would have taken a sell here on GU if we would have invalidated this low, but we didn't get that. That was the only rule that was missing from that potential trade, but we didn't get that. So I'm personally not taking anything on GU at the moment. What we're going to be doing here is I'm just going to be waiting and letting this market do its thing. So we're kind of in a range, and I don't trade ranges, guys. Be careful. I'm not doing anything on GU right now. All right, until we get another break of structure or change of character or something that shows me that the market wants to go in a different direction. At the moment, on the higher time frame, I can see us going either way. AU, we have a lot of liquidity here at the lows. ACAD, we have a lot of liquidity here at the lows. I mean, not ACAD, AU. We have a lot of liquidity here at the lows. Now, we definitely probably will not come back. Sometimes we come back, sometimes we will. I don't know, right? AU can come back and take out this liquidity, but if it doesn't, I will follow the bullish market cycle towards the upside. Now, DXY has not really confirmed with me yet. We still have imbalance to go, so we can get more pullbacks here on EU, GU, and AU, and that's why I'm looking for those shorts at the moment, is we can get more pullbacks towards this imbalance, okay? But we also see that this market is creating some bullish order flow as well, and if we start invalidating this bullish order flow and I start seeing distributions, this will honestly be the top, and I will expect us to continue lower and come into this demand zone down here. Okay, that's if we start seeing those invalidations of those lows and everything like that. But we're not going to predict that, guys. We don't predict the market, we react from the market. Okay, so because we have not seen anything, because we have not seen it yet, we're not going to predict that. Okay, we're going to wait and we're going to be patient. We're going to let the market show us what it wants to do. Okay, so until that happens, we are going to be looking for the same direction. All right, so on GU, we're going to leave GU alone. It's ranging. AU, we're going to leave AU alone, right? Because we have liquidity here that the market potentially wants to take. And until we confirm the directional bias on DXY, I still see that we can pull back. All right, so keep that in mind. UCAD, for anyone that's trading UCAD, bless your heart, you got it. UCAD has been one of the pairs that I have just haven't been looking at. It just haven't been catching my eye, and it's crazy because this used to be one of my favorite pairs back in the day, back in like 2021, 2022, when I was first starting trading. And right now, it's just not doing it for me, guys. Structure is not clear. It's just nah. we have better markets we could take. All right, UCHEF is kind of going into a range as well. I talked to you guys yesterday, and this is exactly why I told you guys do not take the UCHEF buys. Okay, I just seen how this market was moving, and I did not like this right here. I did not like this wick going on the 15-minute as well. We had another wick. The only confirmation we had of this was today, London session, and that was just a manipulation that gave us right back into here. We didn't even take the lows. We went straight for the highs, right? Which automatically, that's not something I want to see in a bullish market. We want to see the market take the lows, right? So the fact that that happened, we knew that this was going to come back lower to take out Asian lows. And of course, underneath Asian lows, we want to look for an accumulation, right? That was the setup that I told you guys to look for, confirmation entries inside of this area. And you can see the market did not give any of that, and we just impulsively moved to the downside. So no trade. Okay, so what I need here from UCHEF, we've already made the change of character. All right, you can kind of see we're in a range. Okay, guys, we want to avoid ranges as much as possible. Trust me. All right, I've back tested this. If you're gonna use these rules and you're gonna use these setups, this is a crucial thing. You want to avoid ranges, okay? When the market is ranging back and forth, and this is a perfect example of a range, guys, you're going to see small manipulations of the lows. All right, you're going to see wicks at the lows, you're going to see wicks at the highs, right? And the market is going to trade sideways. When you see this happening, avoid taking these setups. They're not high probability in ranges, okay? They're high probability in a trending market. This is why we always look for our structure. We're always looking for order flow. We're always trying to understand what direction the market is in. When the market is trending, that is the easiest way to trade for majority of strategies, okay? So try to stay in a trending market as much as possible. Try to find a good basis. You want to know who's in control of the market. If you don't know whose side, if you should be taking supply zones, if you should be taking demand zones. So for example, when we're looking at a pair like GJ and we see that buyers are in control of this market, we know that we could be looking for demand zones. We could be looking for reaccumulations. You could be looking for all types of bullish setups, because it's a clear direction. Okay, so that's what you want. You want the market to make it easy for you. We don't want to be struggling. All right, so this is why you kind of see me avoid the pairs that are not super clean, because if it's not super clean, why are we trading it? Okay, if it doesn't make sense, why are we trading it? So we're gonna leave UCF alone for now. This will be an ultimate confirmation for me. If we break this high right here, I will immediately start looking for buys, but at the moment I'm gonna need something better than this, than what it's doing right now, for us to start looking for anything. Okay. UJ. So UJ, we're in a minor zone, right? This is minor zone. This is not something I'm buying right now, guys. This is a minor zone. So I need this market to actually create something here. So far, and let me actually keep this here. So far, we're creating a nice accumulation. It's pretty nice, right? On the 1 minute time frame, we have 1, we have 2, we have 3 drives. We have a break of the high here. So far we're getting some confirmation. A break of market structure. Let's see if we can get some more impulse towards the upside, right? Let's see if we can see some more impulse movements as we are starting to see right now. And then we can start looking for some buy opportunities off of this area here. Pretty nice. Hold on. Now, honestly, guys, I'm not eager to take a lot of trades right now. So because I already have pending trades. We have GCAD, we have EU, and then we have GJ and CADJ, which looks like they want to activate very, very shortly. Probably by the end of today, maybe tomorrow. I think we do have news for the pound. So want to be kind of stingy with our trades right now. Stingy with our risk because we already have active. Watch UJ inside of here. Wait until we get a trade. Well, wait until we get an impulsive move outside of our demand zone, right? That confirms the next break. It has to be impulsive, okay? As we see right here, this was an impulsive move on the lower time frame. We just need another impulsive move up, and then potentially you can just take your trade. If you want to safe trade, put your stop loss underneath the low here. If you want an aggressive trade, then you can put your stop loss underneath the confirmation, right? Whichever one you want. Remember, this is not a high probability area, mainly because we did not take out Asian lows. That's the main reason why we don't have the manipulation, but this area did give us an impulse, right? We see a very, very violent impulsive move, which I can't ignore. Okay, that is a very impulsive move. So there had to be some type of institution, whether it be a small institution, whoever it was, right? But there had to be something here, okay? So that's why it's a minor zone. All right, gold. I'm looking for buys on gold today. Now, see that we're coming lower. So simply, we have a confirmed reaccumulation, right? We see the distribution that got invalidated. We took out yesterday's high here, which we had another distribution from yesterday. So what I see here is we're invalidating distributions. We know that distributions means sellers. That's it. That's all you have to understand with when we talk about distributions, right? That means potential sellers was trying to take the market lower. We invalidated yesterday's bigger distribution. We invalidated today's distribution, and we took out highs. Okay. We failed to make new lows as well. So that is showing me that we have weak sellers. Okay. Now, what we can do off of that is look for potential buy opportunity. Now, to the 45-minute, trying to find a great area. Now, this 1 hour candle is going to be like the major area here. So if you're looking for just a simple zone to look for buys in, that's going to be it. Okay, that 1 hour. See if I can find something on the smaller time frame, or see if we can find some imbalance or something that we could look for. I don't think we have any imbalances down here. No, we don't have any imbalances, unfortunately. So this 1 hour candle here is where you're going to look for your buys, guys. All right. 30-minute, 45. On the lower time frame. And simply, I'd stay on the 5-minute. And what you can do here is you can wait for, as the market comes down here, what you want to see is impulse. Okay, so first thing you could look for is a simple break of structure, and then you can take your entry here covering this low, right? That'd be a simple trade. Or what you could wait for here is impulse plus imbalance. So what does that mean? As the market comes into here, you want to see, and preferably the 5-minute, right? Keep this on the 5-minute if you're going to look for this. You want to see a 5-minute impulsive imbalance. Okay. Once you see that, the market trades back into it. You wait for another reaction off of that imbalance. This can happen inside of this area too. It doesn't matter where it happens. It just needs to tap here, right? Once you see that impulsive imbalance here on the 5-minute, the market comes back into it. You wait for another reaction, right? Wait for the market to actually react off of that. And then you could take that as your trade as well, just in case if the market does not give us the structure that we need to create the change of character or just a smaller BOS. Look for a bullish imbalance and look for a reaction off of that on the 5-minute time frame. All right, that would be a great scalping opportunity off of this area. Yeah, that's gold. We talked about GJ. We talked about CADJ. Let's go into AJ. So AJ did not confirm the high for me just yet, and I'm still looking for buying opportunities here on AJ. We just haven't given it yet. We traded back into the 50%, right? You guys can see here. So now we can confirm this as an established high, okay? Because the market has came back into 50%. So now we have this low to this high. Now, if the market breaks this high, this will be our low, okay? If we break the high. Now, since we have pulled back into 50%, we are allowed to look for B setups. Now, even with the B setups, I still need to see the manipulation, the impulsive move, right? We still need to see those basic rules. And right now we're not seeing it. I'm not looking for any sell setups, guys. We're in the middle of nowhere at the moment. So I am not looking for sell setups. I'm only allowing A setups, and I'm only looking for buy setups now. Okay, because we have traded into 50%. So until this market gives us an obvious buy setup, I'm not going to be doing anything. What would be an obvious buy setup, you may ask? So you see we have this accumulation right here. That would have been nice. If we would have taken out this high, that would have been a buy setup, right? We did not do that. So what I would need this market to do now is, if it wants to reverse, let's say by the end of today, we reverse and we break this high by the end of today, let's say tomorrow, we see this as an area, and that will be our area to look for potential buys. Okay, something like that. We just need to see obvious breaks of structure and obvious impulsive moves to the upside. So exactly what the market was giving us here. See this impulsive move? We want to see more of that. All right, we want to see more of those impulsive movements so we can take trades off of those areas and take this market higher to make a new high. All right. That's what I'm looking for on AJ. Nothing yet. ACAD, same thing. I'm looking for sales on ACAD though. these highs, we have manipulation right here. I want to see if we'll take out these highs. I do see we're already getting a distribution on the lower time frame. So if we can start giving us some breaks of the lows, and I can start seeing some obvious areas here to sell from, ACAT is kind of like, we just created a change of character. So now I'm kind of just letting the market build a setup for me, whether it wants to build a selling setup. That's what I'm looking for right now, is a selling setup here on ACAT. It's just right now where we're at, nothing 100%. Okay, nothing 100%. I'm just being patient, waiting for something on ACAT. NQ, we are going crazy towards the upside. So indices are bullish at the moment. So look for buying opportunities on indices, guys, if you find them. Okay, so let's see what's going on today. You see immediately, even during London session, we already took Asian lows and we already took out the high. We mitigated this manipulation here. So there was the trade today here on indices, right? That was a simple trade here on NAS, on a larger play, manipulation of Asian lows. We got a mitigation, stop loss underneath here. Not something that I took, but just kind of showing you guys, I'm not trading indices at the moment. So just to let you know, but I still like to analyze indices because I like to scalp indices on live. Equities open, distribution, some nice wick, 30-minute, well, to keep it simple, just follow the momentum. All right, we have a wick right here that we could trade back into. Let the market come back lower and follow this bullish momentum back towards the upside. I don't know if we have any, let me see, high to low, high to low. I don't know if we have any divergence here today between NAS and XPX, and it doesn't look like we do. No. XPX looks exactly the same. Well, NAS looks better, but we still take out the lows today. Still got the move, still got the break, and we still got the mitigation. Right, there goes the demand zone right there. And Q, the same thing here. So you guys can see the same rules, the same thing. We still got that same potential trade here. Let's go down to the lower time frame. Let's see what's going on. A nice accumulation for those that understand the Wyckoff. Boop. Nice accumulation. So that could have been a confirmation entry if you wanted to. So if you didn't want to take a limit order here, you could have took the confirmation entry here today as well. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. And honestly, I just expect this to continue going higher, guys, on indices. So whatever buying opportunity you can get. Well, now with indices, guys, I would suggest, if you're going to look and trade indices, I would suggest you trade from 9:30, the 9:30 Eastern, my time, to I'd say the latest 11:30 Eastern. Past 11:30, that's when the market gets kind of shaky. Okay, the best and high probability setups where you can actually follow the trend is going to be between that time, from equities open to 11:30 Eastern, okay, which is like 2 hours. So from 2 hours of equities trading, okay, that should be the max time frame if you're looking for setups, let's say on the lower time frame, on the 5-minute, maybe even 15-minute, right? If you're looking to take those trades, keep it during that time, because after that time, indices kind of get a little shaky. All right, just letting you know, after that time it gets kind of rough. All right, the setups are not as clean. Sometimes the market will reverse all the movement, so it's best to just try to follow the momentum earlier as the market just opened. You're going to get the easiest setups. You're going to get fastest TPs and everything like that, right? As we know, indices move a lot faster. And I think US 30, yep, US 30, we just hit the 43,000. US 30 is not as clean as NAS and XPX. Got an ugly accumulation here that rated the lows. Did we come back? All right, we did come back into that manipulation here. An impulse. Have a distribution that's potentially going to get invalidated. So we tapped into the 43,000. We're taking out these highs. We're most likely going to come into this imbalance up here on the 4-hour. Daily candles have been bullish. As you guys can see, we're gapping towards the upside, right? So simply put, guys, we just have impulsive movements towards the upside. All right. Now, honestly, we're going to go higher. Okay. Don't worry about that distribution. Seeing that distribution there means that buyers are in control of this market. So boom, once we invalidate this high, which we will, right? Once we invalidate that high, this will be tomorrow's area to look for potential buys. Now, inside of this area, I want to see if we have any imbalance, and we do. Here we go. We have imbalance right here. And then we have a doji right here. So this could actually happen today. We'll see. Imbalance, doji. So here's a setup for those if you're trading indices, right? Either this happens today or tomorrow. Once we confirm the break of this high, right, we get a bullish candle above this high. Once we get that, that's the imbalance that'll draw the market down, right? And this is that 15-minute doji right here that you can look for the next opportunities to continue this higher, okay? Now to be something simple here on US 30. So that is indices for you guys, for those of you that are trading indices. GCAD buy on the 15-minute. I'm not stacking any more positions right now on GCAD until we take out this high. I'm already in a trade, so I'm not stacking any more entries until we get this. This will be at least a change of character, and well, I can't even take any more trades until we get that. Let me just, which one has it? GU. So as you see here on GU, as you see here, we need one of these, right? That would be the only rule that would not trade here. Yeah, we need this high. And reduce risk here. At a 1 to 2, we're just gonna go reduce risk. So I'm gonna put that right there. I think I gotta add that as well for EU. Now, understand when I take these trades, guys, like I said, there's going to be no management until we get a 1 to 2. Since we don't, well, we do have structure right here, but either we just come up here. Once we break this high here, we can go reduce risk. I already have the alert here. I think it's like a 1 to 2 is like right above the high. So it should alert me at the same time. So that'll give me a break even right here. So we'll hit a 1 to 2 and we'll have a break of this high. So I'll just go break even on this trade. All right. Now, this trade could take a day, could take hours, it could take 3 days, it could take 4 days. I'm saying that because as I'm backtesting these rules, I've seen trades. Yesterday, I seen a trade as I was backtesting. I seen a trade that took 7 days to hit TP, right? On a normal market. So with that being said, that just goes to show you, you don't know how the market's going to move. You don't know when the market's going to move. Okay. So what that means is when I take these trades and I'm in these trades, I'm not watching these guys. As soon as I get off the charts for the day, I'm off of the charts. Okay, I'm not managing it until I hear an alert go off. So let me add this on EU as well. Until we hear an alert go off, or until I come back to check the markets later today. The 2 is right there. Okay. So if you're ever wondering if I'm still in the trade, even if the market breaks this high and we come back over here and we're going higher, yes, I am still in the trade. Okay. It's TP or stop loss, guys. Okay. So let's see. Would you take a limit demand if it has Asian lows or if those low after? I would need to see an example. I think I know what you're talking about. Okay, so I think I know what you mean. You're saying, would I take a demand if Asian lows are at the bottom? It depends. It depends. It depends on the time frame. And let me see if I can find an example for you real quick. Let me see. While we're right here. Okay, so I'm gonna use EU as a great example. Hold on. Let me see. Okay, for example, I don't know if this will fit in that same criteria, but here you can see Asian lows here on EU, no trade, right? The manipulation happened right here and the market already mitigated the manipulation. We already filled in balance. Everything is mitigated here. So this area here needs to give me a manipulation. Now, let's say we did not get any of this price action. Let's say this area was still confirmed. Then if you're taking a trade from here, stop loss has to go underneath here. Okay? Or simply put, you could just take your trade from the actual area. Here, no trade. We have clear Asian lows, and not even that, we still have liquidity underneath, right? As you can see. So no trade here, especially because of we have more liquidity here. So when you're looking for a manipulation and you're looking for the market to take liquidity, it doesn't always have to be Asian lows. It doesn't always have to be Asian highs. Okay. So I guess the answer to your question would be yes, I would take a limit order on a demand zone, but at least, even if it didn't take Asian lows, it at least had to take some type of low or some type of low, some type of high. So if I'm in the 4 hour, and let me just delete this Asian range, because sometimes I'll delete that indicator just so I can identify my areas a little bit more, right? So even here, right? We're not looking at sessions. Even here, you can see this wick. We took out this low. I would still not take a trade from here because we have this low, we have that low. We have all these lows here that are building, right? We have higher low, higher low, higher low. That is a trend, okay? There's liquidity underneath here. Now, if this wick, let's say if that would have went lower, manipulated here, and the market goes higher, and this still was the same, yes, you could take a trade from there, because that means this would have mitigated this. That would have been a manipulation. So yes, that would have been the mitigation of here. Does that make sense? So if this candle would have went lower and took out these lows, and this stays exactly the same as it is, you could have taken a trade from here because we already have a manipulation, and this is the mitigation. This is why I have manipulation / mitigation. It has to be one of the two. It either has to be a manipulation or it has to be what mitigated the manipulation. Either one. All right. It doesn't always have to be the manipulation itself. So for example, today's trade, it's a manipulation and it's a mitigation, right? We took out Asian highs and we mitigated previous day right here, right? We mitigated the previous area. So what that means, even if we didn't take out these Asian highs, it would have still been a trade because it was a mitigation. All right. But what I will tell you is the manipulation itself is always going to be higher probability than the mitigation. Okay. You always want to look for the manipulation. That's going to be the highest probability for you. I think that is pretty much it for me. Hold on. I think I seen. Klein told me he can't type in here. I don't know why. Oh, if the manipulation occurs during Asian session. So let me see. No, usually no. I would not look for it. See if I can find an example here. Unless it's news, okay? Unless it's news. If the manipulation is news itself, let's say it's like, I think we have Aussie news later today, right? So if it's news and it happens during Asian session, yes. But if it's just a regular day Asian session, no. Because even when I take out Asian session, I still look at the candles. So I will still look at this candle and see what time it happened, right? This happened at 5 a.m. All right, I know that happened during London session. That's a valid manipulation. Let's see. This manipulation right here, that candle starts at 9 a.m. That is a valid manipulation right here. That is during London session. You can see we got a reaction off of that area. We got a small reaction here. And honestly, this will actually be the better area. Let's get this out of here. This will honestly be the better area here, guys, to look for buys from. That's a way better candle right there. So here you see, this is a great example. I think this is exactly what you're talking about. So here, I am not taking a limit order, and I'll tell you why. Asian lows, right? But this area here, and we also have Asian lows down here as well. And this is not the extreme, okay? So what does that mean? The market can fall through this area and still go higher, and structure will still be valid. Okay, that's what that means. It's not extreme. All right. But so what we require here is for the market to give us a confirmation entry. So I will wait for a lower time frame, something on lower time frame. Once we see something, you can either take a safe play or you could take an entry off of whatever the confirmation is. So for this example right here, you can see this 4-hour candle is pretty nice. This candle happened during 5, but Asian lows is still right here, right? So what you can do here is you can take a trade off of this demand zone. Just do not take a limit order, okay? That's the right answer for that. Because if it is a valid demand zone, as you say, that means it has a impulsive move right? It has an impulsive move. It has at least some type of impulse that you can see. Then yes, you could look for something there. And today, I think that's the same thing we were looking at earlier today. You can see here, this area here, we did not take Asian lows, but I still told you to look for a potential entry here, right? Off the lower time frame because of the impulsive move. All right, let me see the chart that you sent me. And if anybody else got any questions, please let me know. I will be ending shortly. Let's see. Asian session. Okay, that's A chef. All right. So that area right there, yes, you can look for a trade there. No limit order though, since we don't have a manipulation. So you would have to look for a B setup in that area. Does that make sense? And honestly, I don't know. UJ is kind of tempting me here. Hold on. I'm kind of look at these. KJ. I think okay. I like GJ and KJ better. And I'm gonna tell you guys why. So, and this is gonna be the last thing I'll talk about here, and then I'm gonna end the call. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. So this is why I am not gonna be taking a limit order here on UJ versus why I'm gonna take a limit order here on these ones, right? You can see that this manipulation here actually takes out Asian lows and we feel imbalance, okay? Take out the high. Cool. GJ, we take out all of these lows. We mitigate previous area and we break the high. Now we go to UJ. We did not take out Asian lows, okay? But we did create a breakup structure. So this is missing one confluence, which is the manipulation. It has the impulse, it has the imbalance, it has the breakup structure. It's missing the manipulation, okay? And not only that, where is it in terms of our fibs? We're not in extreme. The extreme is down here, meaning look at where 50% of this is at. 50% of this is in premium pricing. So this is why I am not taking a limit order here on UJ, and we're gonna wait for potential confirmation entries in here versus on GJ, you draw the fibs, you can see we're well in discounted pricing. We're actually near the 71, right? KJ as well, let's draw the fibs from the low to the high. We're well in discounted pricing, right? We're underneath the 50%. This is discount. This is where we look for our buys. That's the difference, okay? It's those little extra confluences that's gonna tell you when to look for a limit order, when to not look for a limit order, when you should be waiting for an entry, when you should not be waiting for an entry, okay? It's those little things, guys. You put all those together, right? Those rules that I showed you are the fundamental basics that you need to see to validate an area, but when you're actually looking to take a limit order or take a confirmation entry, it's the extra little confluences like structure, where's your premium, where's your discount, and that's why that is part of up here, as you can see, premium, discount, momentum, market cycle, okay? Those are things that we ask ourselves as well. Where are we at, okay? Why should I be buying UJ here? Why does it make sense? Okay, so we're not gonna be taking a limit order here, but I will be looking for buys inside that area. It's gonna be our first demand zone. So I'm gonna put this as a Well, let me delete these fibs here. We're going to keep this as a POI. Keep it as a point of interest. Look for something at the 50%. We'll see what happens. All right. So that is pretty much it for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed the live call. Thank you for everyone that is here. If you have any questions about any of these setups, just a quick review. We're still in EU. Getting some nice reaction. We're getting a pullback. It doesn't really matter what happens to this trade anymore, guys. I'm already in the trade. So we're just going to see what happens. We're going to go reduce risk if we break this low. Nothing happened today on GJ. I'm on GU. I do see that we're potentially finna get confirmed reaccumulation. So here's a setup right here that could potentially happen. So you guys see we have a manipulation of Asian lows today. All right, manipulation of Asian lows. And today we could potentially get a reaccumulation. So let's identify some of these areas here. Let's say we break this high. Boom. Where is our last valid high? Where is our last valid high? We have high, low, high, low. We failed to make a new low. So yes, okay, so let's say market structure tomorrow. Let's say by the end of today, we go higher, take out this high. Tomorrow, this will be the area I will look for buys in to continue this market higher, potentially taking out these highs, right? That is something we could look for tomorrow if we get that impulse here towards the upside. Because then after that, I'm not selling for anything here. We have Asian highs up here. There's no reason to sell. Yeah, that's what I'll be looking for on GU if we get that. Let's see, AU, UCHF, UJ, we already talked about it. Still going to be looking for buys there. GJ, we have a limit order here, 50% of that zone. CAJ, limit order, 50% of that zone. Let me fix that. Boop. 50% of that. We're in GCAD. Yep. That is pretty much it, guys. Indices going to continue going higher. It's kind of late right now on indices. Don't be too aggressive. Okay. Don't be too aggressive on indices right now. It's kind of late. You can see how the market is already slowing down, so be careful. All right. It's kind of late. Just letting you guys know. US30, I can still see us going higher, taking out this high. What is gold doing? Gold finally came into this area. I will be watching gold here for the rest of the day, guys. I'm going to be trying to trade gold. Just looking for an impulse. All right. Looking for a reaction inside of here. Pretty nice lower time frame. We failed to make the low, so that is showing me that at least we have some type of buyers interested today. So let's see if we can catch a quick scalp today on gold. If I do get a buy here, I'm gonna have simple targets like this high or this high here, right? This is not a higher time frame play. This is gonna be a scalp play. This is not gonna be something of intraday until we start seeing momentum shift back into our direction. Then we can start taking the longer plays and the higher time frame plays, right? We have a lot of liquidity up here that we can target. So I want to see if this will continue this kind of bullish order flow to take us above these highs, right? This is still a distribution, even though we do have a lot of highs here. This is still a valid distribution. And simply put, we have to be careful because we are at all-time highs. All right. We know gold is bullish. It's cool, but we're at all-time highs, so we still have to be cautious. All right. All right. So that's pretty much it for me, guys. Thank you for joining. If you have any questions, you can ask me in the Discord. Link is in the description. The invite link is there if you want to join. So, yep, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for joining me. And I will see you guys tomorrow. We'll be live around the same time. Today's live was supposed to start a lot earlier, guys. I was stuck trading and doing some things. So that is my bad. But tomorrow's live will start at 10 a.m. So I usually like to wait for a lot of people to get in here before I start talking and start breaking stuff down. So I was trying to start it like maybe 5 to 10 minutes early. I'll have it live and I'll just let you guys get a chance to join in. Okay, so pretty much it for the guys. If you have any further questions, ask me in the Discord, ask me on Instagram, wherever you could reach me, and I will get back to you. Thank you guys. Peace out.